Have you no shame? No shame at all? This is can you get any lower?
The ladies of The View are criticizing Donald Trump for his reaction to Rob Reiner and wife Michele's tragic deaths. On December 14th, the couple was found dead at their Brentwood home in what police are investigating as an apparent homicide. The following day, the Los Angeles Police Department announced that one of the couple's sons, 32-year-old Nick Reiner, was in police custody and booked on suspicion of murder. That same morning, the president wrote on Truth Social, saying, "A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michele, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as TRUMP derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michele rest in peace." During Monday's episode of The View, the co-hosts addressed the anti-Semitic terror attack in Australia, the mass shooting at Brown University, as well as Trump's remarks about the legendary director's passing. Sunny Houston first brought up the president's comments, leading Whoopi Goldberg to urge her co-host not to even read them aloud.
And I hate to put a downer on it and make it political, but President Trump texted yesterday and said,
Don't read it. Just tell him that it's there.
He talked about Trump, that he died because of Trump derangement syndrome. I just don't think that that's something that we should be hearing about. I think we should be saddened by the gun violence that we're seeing. I used to think that gun violence was just an American phenomenon, and now we see this sort of anti-Semitic attack in Australia.
On the first day of Hanukkah.
Which is so disgusting and disturbing. And then, kids going to college at Brown in the middle of finals, getting murdered. What are those families going through? Why all of this sickness and hatred going around the world, not just in
and
this
it's all
country?
awful.
Later, Ana Navarro chimed in. She first discussed the Ivy League shooting before blasting the 79-year-old for his Truth Social post.
Rob Reiner slipped into your DMs?
He watched news. He knew everything that was going on. At the same time that he was making brilliant film work, he was also deeply engaged. There wasn't a cause he didn't care about. He cared about immigrants. He cared about equality and justice. He spoke up in defense of democracy at a time when so many in the media industry, so many with a platform are afraid to speak. He put his money and his mouth where his heart was. And for Trump to have put that out today, I'm gonna say it. Damn it, there's an American family grieving.
Yeah.
This is a tragedy, not just for the family, but for all who knew and loved him. And for the President of the United States to make this about him and a way to attack Rob Reiner because he exercised his American right to speak up with what he disagreed with is shameful, is disgraceful, and out of all the disgusting things that Donald Trump has done, this is right up there.
Yeah.
And I would...
Alyssa Farah-Griffin then discussed the Bondi Beach terror attack in Sydney, Australia, as she highlighted how anti-Semitism is on the rise, citing the ADL statistics.
All of these are tragedies in their own right, and I don't want any one tragedy to take away from the other, but I was really struck over the Bondi Beach shooting just because so many of my closest friends happen to be Jewish, and there's this feeling of, on the first day of Hanukkah, Jews in this world, not just our country, are sensing something that they are begging their friends and their allies to feel too. There's an incredible stat from the ADL that says in the US alone in 2024, there was a 344% increase in anti-Semitic attacks. But this is a global phenomenon. And I remember I went to Auschwitz with Vice President Pence and the former Polish president. And I remember leaving and asking a distant family member, how could the Holocaust have happened? I couldn't wrap my mind around it. And I hate to say that 5 years later, I can see it. I see an indifference to hatred, I see an indifference to bigotry, and I see an indifference to the horrible alarm bells being rung about anti-Semitism in our world. And I'm begging people to care. And as you made the parallel, which I think is important, about this Parkland survivor now being in another school shooting, a Holocaust survivor was killed. Like, the world has failed these people. If you survived the Holocaust and you are gunned down by an anti-Semite decades later, it's not right. And my prayers are with all of the people grieving right now.
Afterwards, Goldberg stressed the need for compassion and empathy before taking her own swipe at Trump for his rhetoric about Reiner.
If we can wrap our minds around the awfulness of these things, then we can open our hearts to all the people who have had to deal with this. All the women, all of the men, all of the people of color, all the Jews, all the folks who have had to deal with this struggle. I don't understand the man in that White House, because he talks so much about Charlie Kirk and caring. And suddenly, this is what he puts out. Have you no shame? No shame at all? This is can you get any lower? I don't think so. And what do you have to say about what's happened around the world? Where is our voice as Americans? Somebody's got to speak up for us. Our hearts are breaking through all of this, through Rob, through what's happened at Bondi Beach, what happened at Brown, and you don't find the time to say, as Americans, we hate what's happening. You ain't my president, man.
The segment then followed up with a correction from the EGOT winner.
I'm gonna make a correction here. As it turns out, yesterday, apparently, you know who put his condolences out to the people who are looking down at us from heaven, and the folks at Brown. But this is how he followed it up.
About Rob Reiner.
About Rob Reiner. So, my bad, you did say something. Not what I would like to have heard from you, but you did do it, so there you go.
As for Trump, he appeared to double down on his comments during a press conference on Monday.
A number of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country,
Nick Reiner is currently being held without bail. He was first booked on $4 million bond.